Hey guys, today we're going to talk about waxing your vehicle, different techniques, different types of wax. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this hood clayed, because as you remember from previous videos, we got to remove all those bonded contaminants that washing didn't take off. What I like to do when I'm claying is I like to keep my thumb or my pinky or both out so I can feel the surface to make sure that it's getting smoother. Yummy. Okay, so for the first method, we're going to use a liquid wax. Now liquid wax, depending on what kind you get, can be a fast wax, such as this. This doesn't last very long. Or it can be a synthetic sealant that's going to last a very long time. And the application, as far as hand application, is going to be the same. You want to open it and prime your pad. It's important to prime it because you don't want to run a dry pad on there. You're going to get a little bit of excess product on there and then rub it in with your fingers so that all of these fibers are soft and have product applied to them. And then you just add a little bit more when you're getting ready. Now when you do this, you can start really wherever you want, but you're gonna go up and down, and then you're gonna go across to make sure that you got everything. You're not using pressure because you don't wanna dig into the paint. Now these typically have a faster curing time than say your carnauba waxes or your ceramics. We're gonna let this dry for a minute. A good way to tell when it's done, when you read a label on wax, is apply to a section at a time and let dry to a haze. So to tell when it's ready to come off, a good trick that I do, I call it the swipe test. That swipe is still a little bit smeared, which means it's not really ready to come off yet. When you swipe your finger and it comes off clean and dry, that's when you know that it's okay to take off. Remember to turn your towel frequently. So as you can see, liquid wax is very fast, it's very easy. So now we're gonna go to a carnauba wax. This particular carnauba wax is synthetic blend, so it lasts a very long time. It dries hard as concrete. So same thing, you wanna make sure there's no debris or anything like that, and we're gonna prime our pad. Now these foam pads, I don't like to use with liquid because the liquid will just kind of go through them, but you still need to prime it. So you're gonna put it into the container, and then same thing, you're just gonna rub it around. And then give it one more little application. You're gonna notice these foam pads glide so much smoother than your microfiber or terry cloth. And that's also because this wax is so soft. Now keep in mind, these are not gonna remove any scratches. That's not what it's designed to do, it's simply for protection. The purpose of going in the crosshatch is to make sure you don't miss any spots. Now one thing with this product, you don't want to let it dry completely because it'll be extremely difficult to remove. All right, so we're gonna do our swipe test. Came off clear. And now for our final wax application process, we're gonna put it on with a machine, a dual action polisher. There's several variations of this machine. Common to most of the do-it-yourselfers are the kind you hold with two hands. It has like an 8-inch foam pad on it with the bonnets that you slip on. So you're gonna kind of use the same process for this. If you are using a DA, like I'm gonna use, you wanna keep your speed at 2 or 3 because we're just applying it. We're not trying to correct the paint in any way. We're gonna use a final finishing pad. We're gonna prime the pad. Typically you're gonna do 4 pea-sized sections. Now these pads like to be warm, so you can actually turn your DA on, hold your hand on it, and that's gonna help spread it. Now you're gonna notice the way this moves, it kind of goes all over the place. And that's because it's dual action, so we're not focusing all the heat in one area like with a rotary, like a lot of body shops use or experienced detailers use. Typically we use those for when we have to really cut the paint. So for this we're just waxing, so it's gonna be real quick and easy. So after you prime your pad, you typically only need a couple little dots. Apply it down, make sure your speed's low. Just like before, we're going in that crosshatch motion. No pressure. This is going to give it an extremely even coat. And also doing it this way is going to give it a little bit of a higher shine than doing it by hand. And then just like before, you're going to let it haze up a little bit. So due to the fact that it puts it on more evenly, you're going to see that it's not as noticeable as the other panels we did. It's not as thick, so it's going to dry a little bit quicker for it. This one's ready to go. We're going to go ahead and take it off just like before. Keep in mind that when you're waxing a car, it's better to do 2 thin coats if you're going to do multiple coats than to put a heavy coat on. When you put that heavy coat on, it builds up so much when it dries that when you take it off, you start rubbing it harder, and that product on top that's dry is going to start breaking down the product underneath it, and you have the potential for scratching. So just a nice light coat is all you need to do this. After you're all done with waxing the vehicle, if you want to take that extra step, you can use that spray wax we talked about and just kind of top everything. So you're going to do a few squirts, and this is going to protect the layer that's underneath. And this is what we call a last step process. So this is going to remove any smudging or excess wax or anything like that. And it's going to help your wax last a little bit longer. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to send us a message or call us or stop in. And be sure to watch for our next videos.